There we go. So hi, everybody. Like Todd said, I'm Megan. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and start talking through a couple of the things that are needed before we can even get started with Amplify, mostly relating to leads, and then we'll jump into the Amplify portion of everything here. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, is everyone able to see it okay? It's showing up all right? Okay, perfect. All right, so with the lead setup, that's going to be under the all customers section. So it's the little people icon. And then in the little sub menu here, we've got the leads section. And then in the lead section here, we can go over to the settings where we're able to update a few items here, such as program interest, source, and status. And these are just going to be important later when we're setting up Amplify, because you can have agents engage with people differently depending on, for example, their program interest. So under program interest, this is where you can add things related to the different programs or offerings that you have. So for example, if you have an after-school program or you run birthday parties or camps, you can add those as options. You can also then add general classes. So children's classes versus adults classes or women's self-defense, basically just any offerings that are available to people to select. And that way Amplify has a little bit more information about what information to send to people based on what they are interested in. You can also update things like their source here as well, so how they heard about you. But the program interest primarily is going to be the item that I highly recommend that you have set up and ready to go, so that when leads come in with that program interest selected, Amplify knows what to talk to them about. Right, and then Todd, did you want to take over the screen share or have me keep sharing mine while you talk? Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, you can keep sharing yours. That's fine.
Okay.
And then if we need to, we can jump on mine. So just curious, of the people that are here, are any of you currently using Amplify or sign up for Amplify currently? No, right?
No.
Majority of them, no. Okay, perfect. Just a little brief intro on Amplify. It is basically an agent that you can create when a lead comes in through your website, when a lead comes into any channel. If they're interested in, let's say, martial arts, Amplify will then engage with them through text messaging. Okay. And the goal here for Amplify is to get them to register for a trial, signing up for membership events and whatnot. But what we focus on today is going to be mainly get them into a trial registration. Okay. So I'm just going to paint a picture here. As you know, let's say I have two kids. Okay. And as the parent, they're very busy. 10 o'clock at night, they're on their computer searching for martial arts near me. Right. So they see your school and they see maybe two of your competitors down the street. Okay. All three have a website. I went on all three websites and I gave all three my contact information. Right. The other two school does not have Amplify set up. So I didn't hear anything back. Maybe one does have some kind of text or email automations. So I got a text, but then if I reply back to that text 10 o'clock at night, no one's going to respond to me. Right. Now, if you have Amplify set up, as soon as I hit submit to give you guys my information, I'm going to get a text. It will say something along the line of, "Hey, Todd, welcome to XYZ Martial Arts. How can I help you?" Right? So as you know, the sooner you capture someone's attention, the sooner you're reaching out to them and providing with an answer, the easier it is for you to close that person and get them to sign up for a trial. Right? So I might be asking questions like, "Hey, I have two kids, ages 5 and 6. I want to start them on a trial for martial arts. What do you guys have available?" Right. So what Amplify will do is it will look at the trial setup that you have created in our system. right? So Megan, if you just scroll over and click on trials there, right? So ideally, when you have your trial set up, you're going to set up by different, maybe different age group. The Tigers trial, the adult trials, the the weapon class, whatever that may be. Okay. So then the AI will gather as much information. Hey, is this for yourself or your kids? What are the age? What are the names? Things like that. The goal is to Amplify to fill out that registration form. And it will also look at the class schedule that you have created for your trial as well. Okay. So here's what Megan's going to click on is when you set up your trial, you want to link that to a specific class schedule, right? So then Amplify will know exactly what class you put that person in and what the class schedule is and provide that for them. Meaning it will give me a time slot. Hey, Todd, the trial for kids are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. What day works best for you? Okay, so I would say, yeah, let's do the Friday at 5 p.m. And then Amplify would then book me into that trial. And then at the end, it will send me a link for me to click and sign the waiver and fill out any additional information that is needed. Okay. So the goal here again is to get them started on the trial without you guys having to do anything. Okay. Now, I can have general questions as well, like, hey, what makes you different than the guys down the street? Right. So there's knowledge base and there's different information that you can set up in the system. So Amplify will know how to answer a particular question. Right. So that's the general view of Amplify there. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and click on Amplify for me, Megan. All right, and then click on settings under Amplify. So with Amplify, we OpenAI. OpenAI is basically ChatGPT. I'm sure a lot of you have used it in the past. Okay. So basically you need to connect your OpenAI account into your MyStudio Amplify account. First option you see there, excuse me, is to create an OpenAI account. Now, if you don't have one, you need to create an account. Okay. Now, if you do have an OpenAI account, which is a ChatGPT account, you can just skip that and go to step 2, where you can link your current OpenAI account into MyStudio, right? So I'm gonna share my screen here and kind of walk you through that process here. All right. So let's say I do have an OpenAI account already. I'll just click on here. It will take me to this screen where I need to log into my OpenAI account. I already logged in, but basically it is most likely your Gmail account, whatever account that you use. Once you've logged in, you need to create a secret key, which is an API to connect OpenAI into your Amplify account. So I click here, I just call it test, Amplify, or whatever that may be. Default project is fine. And you click create secret key. And it's going to generate a key for you here. So what you want to do is then copy that key, go back to the other screen, your MyStudio screen, and then you would add that key in here, and you would connect the OpenAI, right? Now I need to talk about with OpenAI, you need to have some kind of credits in your OpenAI account, because every time a conversation that's going back and forth with the with that potential lead, OpenAI needs to have some, I guess the monetary value that goes in and out. The average cost that we've seen from the first text message that goes out until the very end where they send a link to send for that person to sign that waiver, it's about 20 to 30 cents per conversation. So I recommend when you add your tokens, your credits in the OpenAI account, recommend at least $20 or $30 in there. Okay, and you can set it to renew itself when it gets to maybe under $5. You can set it, hey, bring it back up to $20, $30. Okay. So once you link your OpenAI AI account, that's good. That's the first step there. And then we're going to talk about the texting feature that you need to turn on as well within MyStudio, because this is how that potential lead would get the text, right? Some of you might have texting turned on already. Some of you might not. Texting is through Twilio. right? So if we scroll down, if you click on settings, you're going to see the communication enhancement section here. Texting can be $10 a month, right? There's two options within this texting feature here. The first option is you can connect your own Twilio account into the MyStudio platform. You purchase a number, and then every text that goes in and out is going to be like 0.0079 cents or something like that, right? That's the first option, the cheaper option. But you need to connect your Twilio. You need to opt into the compliance where you allow that potential lead to opt in or opt out of that initial text. Okay, so there's a few steps that you got to go through and set that up. The second option, it's an easy option that we have here, is you can say that, hey, MyStudio, can you guys set it up for us? We'll just assign a phone number for you. And within that 10 additional dollars here, you get 500 texts per month. And every text that goes in and out is 2 cents per text. So if you look at the cost here, the first option is a little bit more expensive if you guys text a lot. The second option is going to be cheaper for you, but there's a little more additional steps that you have to go through to connect your Twilio account. Okay. Now back to Amplify. Once you have your OpenAI set up, your Twilio set up, you can now start. The first thing I suggest you do is create a knowledge base. Okay, a knowledge base is basically frequently asked questions that a lead might be asking, and how do you want Amplify to answer? Okay, so let's create one. Let's call it a general knowledge base here, right? When you create your account, when you start your Amplify account, we're gonna have some templates in there for you already, right? Now, obviously, you can edit the questions, change the answer to however you see fit, because how you answer a certain questions can be different than how I would answer certain questions. So you want to train your AI to be, similar to how you guys would answer. Okay. So if we look at just, sample questions here, can I bring a friend, to the intro lesson? Yeah, this is potential lead for you guys, right? So you can say yes, and whatever that message will be, right? Do you have to be physically fit to train for martial arts? No, our goal is to help our student improving their physical and mental health, right? So ideally, you want to create as many questions knowledge base in your knowledge base as possible, so Amplify will know where to get that answer. Now, as you know, if you use ChatGPT before, you can ask any questions, and Amplify will know. ChatGPT will give you like a very good answer, right? So if that question is not in here, Amplify will still know, how to answer that particular question. Okay. And again, the knowledge base, one would be a general knowledge base, a general questions. Another knowledge base could be in regards to your summer camp, right? If you're going to sell summer camp, that knowledge base will be on summer camp. Another knowledge base would be on your, trial martial arts program, things like that, right? After your knowledge base, then you want to click on dashboard and you want to create an agent, right? An agent is someone that can sell your trials, someone that could be selling your events, your memberships, things like that, okay? So let's go ahead and create and click here to create an agent. First, we're going to give it a name. I'm just call it TJ, Todd Jr., whatever that may be, right? Now here, this is important. This is kind of tie back to what Megan said originally. When the lead comes in through your website, whatever that may be, there's an option for them to choose what I'm interested in. What info do I want to get? What more, So when a lead is interested in, you can choose whichever topic here. Let's say kids martial arts. Okay. After that, and a lead enter system through, there's different sources that you can choose from the website, from a form that you upload in the system, from memory referral, the point of sale system, manually entered by staff, right? The default right now is through website and lead forms. But if you want to manually enter in the lead and have Amplify communicate with them as well, you can click this box, right? And then manually enter their information in as well. Okay. So for now, let's choose, let's choose web. And then what do we want to sell? We want to sell trials, programs, or events. For now, we're going to choose trials. right? And then obviously you have different trials that you want to sell. Maybe I would click all the trials that you have available here. Okay. I need to add the calendar. So let's say maybe, let me see any of these. Megan, do you have this part set up on your account?
I do. Would you like me to switch
Okay.
back to mine?
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Yes, please.
Sure.
Right there. So we can go ahead and click on the trials section and what trials you want to sell, right? So here you can click whichever one. So for now, we're doing the Tigers martial art trials. And next is when the lead is active, right? That's the default. When the lead is active, we want to sell them for that particular trial there, okay? And then next would be start engagement. Ideally, when that lead comes in, we want to engage with them immediately, right? So that's on the default there. Now, end engagement when a lead is, so basically when a lead has enrolled or is no longer interested, Amplify will stop texting them, okay? Now, the last thing we see there is the initial intro message to that particular lead. This is the default message that we have. We take that, we said hi, we take that person's name. Like if you're interested in whatever, your studio name will be there, right? And how might I help you? Again, you can edit this message however you want. And whatever that initial message is, you can edit that and set that in here. Okay. And then you basically just, save that agent, right? You can test it out if you want to. But ideally, once you turn this on, again, when a lead comes through your website, select what program they're interested in. I'll automatically get a text. Okay. And that text is, like I said earlier, give them more info, get all the required information for them to sign up for that particular trial. Okay. So that's basically the setup portion of the Amplify, creating a knowledge base, linking your OpenAI account, linking your Twilio account, and creating that agent to start texting them. If you guys want to test this out, can you open up a new window, Megan, and go to MyStudio.io? If you can share that screen. Yep. So if you guys want to kind of test this out and like, let's say, pretend to be that particular lead, right? Under products, can you click on products for me? And then click on Amplify under sale. Yep. Right. So if you guys do this, follow the steps here and fill out your information, first name, last name, and your mobile number there. You can type a fake email if you want to, and then click see it live. You're going to get a text from Amplify. And then just go ahead and ask any questions that a parent or someone's interested in sign up for a trial might be asking. Right? You can ask a random question, something kind of test it out, throw off the system and see what kind of message that you're going to be getting. Right? But the goal for Amplify here is, again, get that person to sign up for that trial, give them the class schedule that they can pick what time they want to come in. And on your end, you're going to get an email confirmation that I'll sign up for a trial on Friday at 5 p.m. without you having to do anything. Okay. Yep. We have a questions here. We're going to find the main details that you were working on. Okay. So can you go back to the other screen? You saw that questions, Megan?
I did, yes.
Okay. So you go back to the other screen. So this screen here, if you click on Amplify, the Amplify icon on the left-hand side, I believe this is the questions, right? Right. So within Amplify, there's dashboard, where you create that agent. Knowledge base is where you create all the knowledge base, so Amplify will know how to answer. And then settings is where you would link your OpenAI account. And then the texting, which is the Twilio, is going to be under the settings section there on the bottom there. Okay. So, Megan, do you normally ask questions now, or how do you how would you
Yep,
proceed?
we can open it up to Q&A at this point, since we went over the general information. So if you guys do have questions about your own setup or about Amplify in general, you can just pop them in the chat for us, please. That way everyone's not talking at the same time, so we can work our way through those.
Barb, hopefully that answered your questions in regards to where to find that particular page. I still can't find the main details.
Barb, can you clarify what you mean by main details? Is that the trial details, the lead details? I'm not quite sure what you mean by main details. So this page where it says main details, that's on the agent itself. So if you either create a new agent or edit an agent you already created, it will say main details here. So this is the agent. Not a problem. Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, so we have two packages. Frank just asked the questions here. What is the cost for using Amplify? There's two packages that we offer. There's a $69 package and a $99 package. The difference between the two is the 69, you can have only one agent. Okay,
and
meaning
one knowledge base.
And one knowledge base, exactly. One agent and only one knowledge base. So majority of our users that are using Amplify is on that 99 plan because you have up to 10 different knowledge base and 10 different agents that you can sell different things. Okay. Now that is for your first 12 months, right? So we kind of want to get you guys to kind of test it out. And it's a month-to-month contract. You're not tied in for 12 months or anything like that. But after the initial 12 months, it does jump up to $199 if you were to stay on more than a year. Okay.
And Scott asks, can a live person jump into a conversation?
The answer is yes. Go ahead and click on chat. Yep, there you go.
So,
right, go ahead, Megan. You know this part. No, I'll let you go.
Under communications, mobile messages, this is your inbox for both texting and in-app messages. So you'd be able to see the conversations here. So we actually have one here. So, and you can see Amplify has been engaging with this person. So I can see the Amplify on the conversation. And at any point, I can take over in that conversation and start talking. Looks like GMC asked the same question at any point. Can we chime in on the text? So yes, you can hop into that inbox and start talking to them instead. And then Scott also asks, do you need to have multiple agents for different programs or trials? So you do not have to. You could have one agent that engages with all sorts of different program interests. But the advantage to splitting it between the different program interests is that you can have it reference different knowledge bases and try to sell it differently depending on what the person is interested in. So for lead interest, you can only select one here, but you can sell them on multiple like trials, membership. Yep. Yeah, or trials. Sorry. So like if you did just a general lead interest of just martial arts, for example, you could then try to sell them on any of the different programs. But if you do make it more specific for your different types of programs, then like I said, you can have different knowledge bases that are more specific, and just kind of change the way that it's engaging with them.
We have another questions here in regards to how many of our clients are using my Amplify, and is this a new offering? Scravi, if you can let me know, when was this launched? I think maybe over 8 months ago.
Yes, it has been more than 8 months. Yes.
Yeah, we've launched this. I want to say over 8 months ago, and I want to say the total number of user that we have right off the launch, we had about 60. I haven't checked the numbers since then, but I would say it's close to possibly 200 plus now that are using Amplify.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. And then it's a beta test. Just want yeah, so GMT is asking, is this a beta test? So this is not a test. This is live, and a lot of studios are using Amplify. Now, another thing I didn't mention earlier, as you can see, the middle tab there, if you can click on automations.
Mhm.
So this is a new feature that we just recently launched. So how we launch things at MyStudio, obviously, the main thing is getting Amplify going, right? And then we want to add additional features into the Amplify system. The automation is something new that we just launched. So basically, automations is, let's say Amplify sent me a text. I, went back and forth and asked a few questions, but then I kind of just stopped because maybe it got to midnight and I went to bed, right? So the goal for the automation is a follow up with that particular lead. You can set it up within here. Can you do a drop down on that setup there real quick?
Yes.
Right. So you can set how, how quickly or how long you want to follow up with that particular lead. A day, you can set hours if you want to, right? And then within that, you can set a restriction time, right? So the time between 7 p.m. and 9 a.m., we don't want Amplify to follow up within that time frame. But now, if someone did the initial message, the initial lead capture on the website at, let's say, 10 p.m., Amplify will still communicate, but the follow-up will only happen within the time frame that you set there. Okay. And here's another thing as well with the automation. We don't want Amplify to send out the same message every single hour or every single half an hour and things like that, right? So there's different there's criteria that is dependent on where that last conversation stopped, right? So if we can look at one of them, when a lead doesn't choose a class, what message do we want to say? Right? When a lead doesn't specify what age, what message do we want to say? So again, we don't want it to say, hey, Todd, are you still there? Hey, Todd, are you still there every hour? We don't want to do that. So we want to send out a certain messages dependent on what the last, message was. Okay. So like I said, this is something new that we launched here. Okay. Back to question. Greg asked a great question. Is this multilingual? The answer is yes. Spanish. Now, obviously, Chinese and things like that.
It still has to use the same English characters.
Characters. Yeah. Yes. Okay. The Latin, whatever you call it. Yeah. So Spanish works, right? German and things like that. But obviously Chinese and Korean and Thai, some of those characters not going to show up. But yes, it does speak Spanish, which is great. I showed this to someone that majority of the students are Spanish speaker, the area that they're in. And when they saw that it responded in Spanish, they're like, you know what, sign me up. So that's definitely good for them. God asked another questions here. Can you combine with automations? Now you can, but with this new automation features that we launch here, I recommend don't combine it with the automations that you have. But Megan, what are your thoughts on that?
Sure. So as far as automations for leads, you don't really need to necessarily combine them, but it's still, you could do automations then for the trial aspect of it. So they book a trial and they're getting a confirmation, like an email that you're sending out with more info. But Amplify is only directly engaging with the lead side of things, not the trials. So that would be its own separate automations and communications there. So Scott, to your question of like the client wants to reschedule, that's something that you would be engaging with them about rather than Amplify necessarily. We also had, does the text conversation get added to the lead? So that's going to be on their profile. You've got their communications history. So if I were to go into the leads here and click on our lead, I think this was the one it was talking to, but we'll find out in a second. But so under your leads, you've got communication history. There we go. So I can see the history of SMS messages that have been sent. I can see they were actually sent by Amplify. And then if you were to click into this, it'll take you back to communications mobile messages where your inbox lived. So you can see that full conversation there. But yes, it is on their lead profile.
Yeah, the next question here is of the percentage that of prospects that are using MyStudio. Hold on, what percentage of prospects are setting appointments with agent AI driven appointments? Megan, I know Encourage is using Amplify, correct?
They are, yes.
Yeah, I don't know what percentage they have for. Would you know? Is that something you know?
Unfortunately, I do not. Amplify
Yeah.
was added after I left Encourage, so I
Got it.
don't know the
Okay.
conversion rate. Sorry.
Okay. I mean, I personally, I don't have that data. But here's the thing: if you guys are getting leads into the system and you realize that my follow up is not good enough or not quick enough, that's where the AI will come in, because the goal is you're gonna get out. Eventually, you're gonna follow up with them, right? You're gonna call them and text them and things like that. But to reach out to them right then and there when they're having questions and when they interested in sign up for a trial, the conversion rate is going to jump drastically, because I want info right. Everyone want things ASAP as soon as possible, right? So if I'm interested right now, if someone's providing me with information and give me a class schedule, the time I can choose, and all I need is just click and sign a waiver, I'm going to do that. The other school, I haven't heard back from them, and I don't want to call them. I'm a busy dad, things like that. So that's where Amplify comes in. So yeah, if you guys are having a lot of leads come into your system, and you find that maybe your staff is not following up with them quick enough, maybe you are a one-man show where you teach, you collect payments, you do this and that, you do everything. So having this agent that will answer questions and get someone through that door, the registration page, it's going to help the business tremendously, I think. All right. Let us get some data. Let's see if we can find some data behind the percentage of prospects that are setting appointment with these AI features, and then we can look into that and email that out to you guys. But as of right now, I don't have that data in front of me.
Frank also asked, once we set up MyStudio, how do we direct our website to Amplify? So Amplify is tied to the leads. So essentially, you're going to want to focus on how your website is collecting leads and then getting those leads into MyStudio. So for example, if you've got a lead capture form, setting up API integration so that when someone fills out that capture form, the lead goes right into MyStudio and Amplify can engage with them. So you're not connecting Amplify necessarily to the website. You're just connecting your leads to the website so that Amplify will engage with them.
Right. So Strawberry just sent me a message. He said Amplify generated around 1,500 pending trial registration links, meaning that link that they send at the end for them to sign. Of the 1,500, out of which 1,100 signed the waiver. Okay, so as you can see, about 400 still going through that process. So then that automation would then kick in because they never finished signing that waiver. But then up to 1,500, 1,100 sign up for that that particular trial. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Looks like we are good.
All right.
So yeah, so I'm just curious. I mean, after this call here now, Megan, the calls can be recorded and sent out to everyone.
Yes, it's been recorded. So we have the ability to send it out. Yes.
Now, will it send to the people that did not attend the webinar as well, or the people that registered and did not attend?
That I'm not sure about. That would
Okay, we can check about that offline. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. GMC said this is amazing. This is a great tool for sure. I mean, especially if you guys are realizing that your leads are not coming in and not registering, not signing up. This is a great way to get them through that initial trial process without you having to do much. Okay. So we'll follow up here with an emails if you guys are interested in looking into MyStudio a little bit farther. I can definitely reach out and set you guys up for that. But yeah, I appreciate everyone joining the call here, and we'll be in touch. Okay.
thank you all so much.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.